Welcome to the West London Business Company Spotlight Series, sharing stories from the UK's global gateway. We are the West London experts, and we provide leadership for the world's most connected place to catalyse action for people and planet. Throughout this series, we will be delving into West London businesses to find out how they have grown, the support the West London business has provided, and what we can do to support them further. West London has a rich cultural history and is home to makers, developers, educators, retailers, and so much more. Doing business in West London is great, and we want to make it greater. I'm your host, Amelia Grant, and this is the West London Business Company Spotlight. Hello again. After a bit of a break over the summer months, we now find ourselves firmly in the autumn for episode 4. Our latest company spotlight turns to the world of sports, where West London has a rich, world-class history across football, athletics, cricket, and a whole lot more. Today's guest comes to us from the world of Rugby Union, specifically Ealing Trailfinders Rugby Club, who currently compete in the RFU Championship, one level below the Gallagher Premiership. Founded as Ealing Football Club RU in 1871, the first match in the club's history took place on Ealing Common before the founding of the Rugby Football Union itself 2 years later. Wasps, London Irish and Harlequins were frequent opposition in those early years, followed by over a century of playing in local competitions. 1999 saw a new era for the club as Sir Mike Gooley, founder of Trailfinders Travel, purchased the GWR Sports Ground and turned it into Trailfinders Sports Club. Ealing Rugby Club quickly moved there, giving birth to the Ealing Trailfinders Rugby we know today. After 23 years of investment, the club now has facilities and a squad that is the envy of most in Rugby Union. Ealing Trailfinders are the current RFU Championship League and Cup champions, only denied promotion to the Gallagher Premiership last summer after failing to meet the minimum ground capacity criteria for the league, something I'm sure we'll talk about later. Bill joins us today as a relatively new West London business member, but certainly no stranger to the local business landscape, as fellow WLB member Lord's Builders Merchants have been a sponsor of the club for the last 7 seasons. Welcome, Bill. How are you?
I'm really well, thanks, Amelia. Thanks for having me on your podcast.
Well, we're delighted to have you. So I'd like to start, I think, by just getting you to talk a little bit about yourself and how you came to be with Ealing Trailfinders. How did that happen?
About me? Well, gosh, that could be a long story. I'll try and keep it as brief as I can. I first got involved with the club back in 1995, so 27 years ago, as a player, playing across every team from the 5th through to the first team, and then later as a minis parent and a youth parent, coaching every age group from under 6s through to academy under 18s. And then more latterly as a vets player, I carried on, and I've been, in my time, a tour organizer, a committee member, and I'm still formally one of the club's vice presidents of the Rugby Club. So at the same time I was doing all that, I spent my midweek working days developing a 25-year career in the media industry. So advertising sales was my thing, and I worked in a career in the media industry for companies such as ITV, a load of ad agencies, and then more latterly, I worked at Eurosport, so I worked on live sports sponsorship there. But for the past 15 months, I've joined the club on a full-time basis in the commercial team, and that's part of our plans to get the club into the Gallagher Premiership. It's going well.
Gosh, you've done it. You've done it all. Then you've played everywhere and seen the club from all sides, and probably a lot of growth in that time as well.
Yes, certainly a lot of growth. The place is actually almost unrecognisable since when we first moved from our old base to Trailfinders Sports Ground.
For those that may not know the landscape of RFU Championship Rugby, tell me in a nutshell, if you can, how the club fared last season.
Well, to put it into context, this season, the club currently sits in first place, 2 points clear at the top of Rugby Union's second tier. We're undefeated, 7 wins and 7 bonus points. And it's a highly competitive league with a mixture of fully professional sides and semi-pro clubs. So that's the same as last year. There's a mixture of teams that are on with players that are on full-time contracts, but some clubs have players that are semi-pro and don't necessarily train all day, every day like our players. But believe you me, it's a very competitive league. There are top players from all over the world playing here. To give you an example, last weekend, Saturday, we played Nottingham, who were in third place. The game started well. We were 38 points to 0. And then just after half time, we turned around and they scored 3 quick tries. And it was certainly a really competitive game. I mean, we pushed ahead in the end and we won 64 points to 33, but it was very entertaining rugby. Last season, though, we won the league and we won the cup. So we did the double. However, at the very point that we won the league, the Premiership and the RFU said to us that as we didn't have 10,001 seats at the time of winning, our ground didn't meet what they call their minimum standards criteria, and therefore we wouldn't be promoted. So sad faces all around. The good news is that behind the scenes, since then, we've been working very closely with the RFU to agree a new set of minimum capacity criteria, and it looks like at the moment it'll be 5,000 for next season, so that will help us to go up, and it'll help us, help those that follow us. We've previously to that also been developing all aspects of the facilities here, and we continue to do that. And whilst being disappointed about not going up last season, we certainly, are very enthusiastic and motivated about going up this time round.
Oh, well, congratulations. That must have been such a roller coaster of emotions, having done so well from a sports perspective, only to be flummoxed at the last hurdle, as it were. And I'm jolly pleased that we'll be able to look forward to perhaps some great news for next season.
Well, let's hope so.
We have already said that West London is home to many fantastic sports clubs. Can you tell me how you think Ealing Trailfinders stands out and what your plans are in the sort of next 18 months?
Yes, certainly. Yeah, we are a little unusual in that we, as a club, only went professional in 2015. And we are the only fully professional team to have lots of amateur teams. So minis, youth and amateur adult teams all on the same site as a professional team. We started as a community club and now we're a very well run business at first team level. We've got zero debt. Sure, we've got a very generous benefactor in Sir Mike Gooley of Trailfinders Travel, but we are careful never to spend a penny more than we receive. Trailfinders have been an amazing long-term sponsor, backing us for more than 20 years, and that's rare in rugby. During the past 4 years, they've worked alongside us to put together an academy of more than 190 players at Brunel University. We've also got an amazing women's program that we're developing, and that's led by Giselle Mather, the former Wasps women's director of rugby and an ex-England women's player. And via her, we've just announced that we're putting in a bid to get a women's team into the Prem 15s.
That all sounds fantastic, and your roots firmly connected to the community and Ealing itself are laudable. I must say, I think that's one of the things that I find most exciting about Ealing Trailfinders. In terms of looking a little bit further out, what do you think success looks like in 5 years?
Amelia, this is sport. You never know what's going to happen, but we've always wanted to become just as successful as we can be, and already this feels like a fairy tale journey that we've been on. I mean, to make it all the way up through 8 divisions in under 20 years, I'd like to think we'd be able to establish ourselves as a regular in the Premiership by year 3 or year 4, and then go on to be one of the most successful teams in European rugby, into European competitions. All this without forgetting our roots, of course. Did you know that the club's motto is Respice Prospice, which means look forward, but don't forget to look backward? So very apt for where we are at the moment, the highest point in the club's history, but with a very long history behind us. To get where we are, it's taken a long time, and we've had a lot of volunteers put in a lot of hard work, and now that mantle's been taken on by a professional team that hopefully will get us to the highest point in rugby.
In terms of helping Ealing on its journey to that success, or to even more success, how do you think our London or your West London business neighbours can help you?
Interesting question. Firstly, it feels like we're a very well kept secret here in West Ealing, and so I would encourage anyone who's not been down to a match here at Valleys Way to come along and experience a family atmosphere. You know, we're very affordable when it comes to hospitality. We've got a great brand of rugby being played, and we very much see ourselves as a club for the whole of West London. We've got lots of opportunities for our business neighbours, for branding, for direct response, for corporate hospitality. And again, it's all value for money. We see ourselves as very much on the way up the mountain still, but it won't be long before we're at the summit.
Bill, why should a West London business actually become involved in Ealing Trailfinders Club? What's in it for them?
I think what's unique about us, and certainly very unusual, is that it's rare for a team to get promoted from the Championship to the Premiership. It's not automatic, the promotion. The window of opportunity is fairly small and fairly rare. The last time a team went from the Championship and stayed in the Premiership was Exeter Chiefs, and that was 12 years ago. What is also rare is partnering with a Championship team that's going to the Premiership and getting the opportunity to then in turn take advantage of TV coverage and being on, getting exposure every single week of the rugby season.
That sounds like quite an opportunity that actually local businesses should not miss out on.
Absolutely, yeah. That applies to any category of business. There's opportunities for everyone.
And you'd like people to carry on the journey with you. And that's great, especially as part of a club that's so rooted in its own community and in West London. So I applaud that. But how
Absolutely.
can people get in touch with you to find out more about how they can help?
Well, they can contact me directly or go via our website, ealingtrailfinders.com. And I'm sure members can get involved via yourselves.
Well, that's definitely right. And I'm sure that Bill will be attending some of WLB's many networking events coming up soon where you can meet him face to face. Bill, thank you for joining me today. Honestly, it's been lovely to find out a little bit more about Ealing and also where you're going and how you're going to get there. And I have every faith that you're going to do it. Honestly, I think it's a good news story that we are desperately in need of in the country, let alone in our little region.
Can I just ask you, do I have your commitment that you're going to come down to a game?
I would absolutely be delighted to come down to a game. Definitely. You can count me in.
I'll see you there. Thank you.
And good luck for the season ahead. We'll follow all of the progress. That brings our whistle-stop tour of another West London organisation to an end. I'll be back soon with more stories from the West as we continue to explore our local business community. In the meantime, if you'd like to discuss getting involved with West London Business as a member of any of the various strands of our work, drop me an email via amelia.grant@westlondon.com. Until we meet again, have a lovely day.